How we doing, New Hope? Yeah, glad you all have joined us, whether you're here in the room or watching online. We've got so many new people watching online. It's been really incredible. Our tech team has been doing a ton of work. Paul and Taylor and a bunch of other guys on our online worship, and our online audio is sounding really incredible. If you haven't gone to check it out, go check it out. It's a big improvement from over the years, and we think that that's a big reason why lots more people are engaging on Sunday mornings, and throughout the week and around the world. So we're so thankful that you're with us. We're really glad you're here, and we could not do all that without our tech teams. Let's give all of them a hand. Yeah. So tech covers all kinds of stuff. What you see here on Sunday morning, the lights work, and Richard does a ton of work throughout the week on that. We've got people in the back that are doing things to getting this stuff streamed out. I can't even explain how all of it works, and I'm a pretty techie guy, but it's still kind of out there. But we would love for you guys to serve with the tech team. If you have any kind of tech knowledge, or even if you don't, we will train you, we'll teach you what to do. You can work a camera. We got all kinds of opportunities, serving opportunities on the tech team, and we'd love to engage you in that way. And so that takes me to our attend one, serve one cards. If you guys would hold these up, you may be sitting on it. Kenny got the assignment. All right. So if you guys would take these this week, and we got to hear from Tierra about different serving opportunities, if you take this week and just stick it somewhere that you'll see it and think about it and pray about serving somewhere here at New Hope. If you're not already serving, it's a great way to get connected. When we're talking about community, that's one of the first ways that we found community was going and serving on the greeter team outside and saying hi to people, and I was terrified of that. When I first started coming to New Hope, I avoided the greeter team. I swung around the back. I didn't want to talk to nobody. And so it's a great way to start building community, creating community like what we're talking about today. So I really encourage you to bring these back next week, because we will have that serving fair. We'll have some tables set up with the different places that you can serve here at New Hope, and we would love to do that and engage that with you. It just makes space for people to engage Jesus here at New Hope. And so it's Life Group Fair Sunday. You may have noticed all these tables back here. We got blinking lights. We got snacks. We got all kinds of cool stuff back there. It's one of my favorite Sundays because I know that lives are going to be changed. I know there's going to be connection happening. And I saw lots of names after first service getting signed up. And you just know that cool stuff's going to happen. And so maybe 12 years ago, I was thinking like 10 years ago, but it's hard for me to keep track of the time. But like maybe 12 years ago, we did an event like this where we opened up our life group to more people and had all kinds of people come in, and we're still walking in life with those people. Erica is one of those, and Stephen and their family, and lots of others. And it's just a way of, it was a huge impact on our life and on our marriage and on our kids who are doing life with their people now, and some of they're friends with some of the same people whenever he's not sick here. Garrett's sick today. But yeah, doing life with all of his friends. So it's just really cool to see and to know that Life Group Fair Sunday is going to make a big impact. And so that's what we've been praying for as I set up these tables this week, just praying over each one of them, that each one's going to have a huge impact on people's lives. And so I'm going to try to be quick this morning, not too quick. I like to talk fast sometimes, so I've got people out here that are going to give me like some signs to slow me down. Take a breath. And those of you know I can talk real fast sometimes. Doesn't always make sense, but so we're going to try to get you out of here a little bit early just so you guys can go engage these tables. And so please don't leave here today without talking to somebody, engaging one of these tables. We'll have some of our life group coaches up here on either side of the stage that would love to answer any questions you may have. You can come find me, and we'll get you directed towards a group. It's really cool. So Life Group Fair Sunday. We are smack dab in the middle of our On Mission series, and it's a great time to kind of recenter ourselves. And I love that we do this every year. I'm always excited about it because it not only lets all the new folks know, like, all right, what's our mission statement here at New Hope, but all of us that have been around a while, like, it gets to recenter us and say, all right, this is what we're about. This is who we're here to impact, how we're going to do it, and all of that. So it's really cool. So what is our mission statement here at New Hope? Let's say it together. Love God, create community, and engage the world. Good job. First service had to do it twice because they were kind of low. So you guys did great. And we always have little cheat codes on the side, so you got it listed out. We've got it out in the lobby. We've got it all over the place. So that's our mission statement here at New Hope. And so last week, Keith taught us about loving God. And this week, I'm doing create community. Next week, Jake's doing engage the world with the serving fair and talking about how we engage the world. So if you missed last week, I'd come back. I'd go and watch it online and make sure not to miss next week, because you guys are here. You're engaged. It's awesome. Don't miss any of this, what God has for us in this series. So why is community so important? Last week, Keith taught us that the love God and create community part of our mission statement comes from some of Jesus' words of what we like to call the Great Commandment, which was coming from Matthew 22:36. And what that was Jesus was kind of being tested by some people. They're like, all right, there's all these laws out here. You got 633 laws out there. And I was actually looking it up this week. So it does sound like a lot of laws. That's a lot of things to be keeping track of. Do you know that here in the United States, we have over 300,000 federal laws and regulations that we're supposed to adhere by? That's a lot of laws. And so we need this as well. Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? What's the greatest law? And so let's take a look at that real quick. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So there Jesus is saying, all right, so out of all these laws, everything that's going on, these are the two things, to love God and to love your neighbor. And so here at New Hope, try to figure out how do we love our neighbor well? Well, we feel like creating community and in community, doing life together is how we do that. And so it's a good idea to have a good definition of what community is. And if you've been through our Maturity 201 class, we teach this. But one of our definitions is that community is doing life together by knowing and being known, loving and being loved, serving and being served. And that's pretty incredible, I think. That's something I want to be a part of. So, and we get that from our idea of what the early church looked like from Acts 2, where they're given a description of what the early church looked like. So Jesus has come and taken all of our sins upon the cross. He died, rose again on the third day. He made himself known to lots of people. Lots of people saw him and experienced him in that time. He kind of gave us our marching orders, and then he ascended back up into heaven. And so this is when all the apostles and the early church are coming together, like, how are we going to do this? How do we do life together? And they came up with this model of the early church in Acts 2. So let's read that together. Sorry, I'll read it. You don't have to read it out loud. Everybody. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. So that's kind of our basis of what we think church and what community and ultimately our life groups should look like. And as I was processing that this last couple of weeks and thinking about this On Mission series, so the On Mission series, like church-wide, is kind of letting us know, like, all right, what are we about? Who are we here to impact? What are we doing here? And so I thought it'd be a really good time to talk about life groups again and kind of what are life groups supposed to look like? What does doing community look like? Because we have a lot of new people here at New Hope. They're engaging, and so it's easy for those of us that have been around for a long time to just kind of take that for granted. Some of our kids have been, raised in life group. It's a life group, it just is. And so we just kind of throw life group out a lot. And I know back whenever me and Melanie first got married, we got invited to go to some friend's house, and I thought for sure we were just going for dinner to hang out with some people. It was a Bible study. I think I got tricked into going. But we go, and these people were super nice and really, hospitable. They invited us into their house, but we go in, and so they're like, all right, we're going to break up into these little groups, and we're going to play some games. And so this one game, I had to pick out a verse out of a hat, and I'm supposed to read this verse, and I start to go to read it, and I freeze because I had no idea how to pronounce Philippians. I wasn't raised in church. I wasn't, and it's this weird word, and it might as well have been in Chinese because I could not read it, and they're going, just read it. And I'm like, and I froze. And I remember just the faces looking at me, and I'm just like, and they were so nice that if I'd have said, hey, I don't know how to pronounce this, they would have, easily jumped on and just said, hey, here's how you pronounce it, and move on. But that put up like a barrier in my heart where for several years, I didn't want to hear nothing about going to anybody's house, studying anything. I was not about it. And so whenever we started coming here to New Hope, they start talking about life groups at the end of service and getting together with people. I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I still had some trauma, some PTSD going on. Philippians, that's why I use Acts. Easy, Acts. Jake gave me that joke between services, so I like it. So I'm totally lost now. Yeah, so I just want to acknowledge that it can be hard going, just even the idea of life groups. Like there's people here that are doing the same thing. I would actually go out and go, I need to go pick up the kids. The line gets long. I need to go pick up the kids at the end of service. So I'd leave service early so that I wouldn't be here during the end when they start going, you should connect with people and have life group. And I'm like, and so I'm back there, avoiding it all. Our story changed. We got involved, all that stuff. But I just want to acknowledge it can be really scary. And so out of everybody in here that's been involved with the life group, who would say your first time was kind of scary? There was a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety about hosting people at your house or getting involved. Okay, only like 5 people. So apparently all y'all got it figured out, or you're not involved in a life group. But it can be really scary. It can be scary. So, yeah, we want our life groups to look a lot like what the early church looked like. So we use that Acts 2 as a basis of what our life groups look like. And so just wanted to kind of describe life groups this morning, give everybody kind of a base thing, but it's also good for all of our life group leaders that are here and have tables set up to kind of get a recharge of what's life groups about? What are we here to do? And we're not legalistic about these things. We don't take the list and come, check off. Lynn, whenever we were doing life groups, she was one of our coaches, and they showed up one night, and I'm like, for sure she's going to be here just checking off, what we were doing, what we weren't doing. It was a really weird night. We were doing a marriage study, and it was the sex talk night. And Lynn and Stan show up, and I'm just like, oh my. They sat like right next to us, and I'm like, oh my. I didn't tell that first service. That just popped in my head, so. You're welcome. I'm a little more chill this service, so. Been through this once already. But so life groups are groups of 6 to 12 people meeting in homes, and I know I heard some giggles first service. Most of our life groups aren't 6 to 12 people. Some have a lot of people. Some have, when we had like 60 people in our house at one time with kids and adults. But that's the smaller groups are good. And so we always are encouraging groups to multiply and do things like that. So most of our groups meet in homes. Some of them might meet in a coffee shop. We have some that meet up here at New Hope during the week. But we encourage people to meet in homes because it's a lot more casual, a lot more open to kind of be sitting comfortably and doing that kind of thing. And, it's a group of people doing life together. They care for each other. They're praying for each other. They're on this journey of following Jesus together. And so that's kind of basis of what life groups look like. But we want to base it off of the Acts 2 verses. So let's take a look at what life groups can look like. And the very first one is that life groups look like Bible studies. And so we want to come together and study the Bible in some form or fashion. So we have groups that do it in all kinds of different ways. So we've got a group now that is doing the Chosen series, and they're watching Chosen videos and coming together and talking about it and learning the biblical story of Jesus through the Chosen. And we have groups that are diving deep and doing full book studies. We have some that are doing marriage studies. We have some that are doing Financial Peace University and using the Bible to guide our financial decisions and studying it that way. So we always want to make sure that we're studying the Bible. New Hope, usually for most of the year, we send out discussion guides that helps any of the life groups that want to use it. And whenever we're going through different series here at New Hope, it'll kind of just keep the discussion going from the series the sermon on Sunday with questions and things to kind of keep the thing going. Keith has talked about from up here that only 5% is usually retained from what a preacher says on a Sunday morning, and after 72 hours. So I think it's kind of good news because we can kind of repeat some stuff sometimes, but also we want you to retain some of that stuff. So that's a great way of doing it throughout the week in life groups. So let's look at the next one. Life groups look like connecting relationally. And so one of the words that we use here is fellowship. And each one of these has the little line from Acts 2, just so you can reference that. So fellowship is kind of one of those Christianese words, that when I first started coming, I'm like, what's fellowship? Is it friendship? What is it? But really what it is people coming together that really care about each other, and they're doing life together, and they're praying for each other, and they're rooting for each other. We're on this journey of chasing after Jesus together, and we kind of build momentum off of each other. Whenever you see, you've got people that are holding you accountable, like, all right, you've been acting like a knucklehead with your wife, and you know that they're going to keep you accountable. It might keep you from doing it that next week when you have to talk about it in group, or there's all kinds of different things that can happen, but we want to make sure that we are connecting relationally. And you got people that are tracking, what's going on with your career and your kids, and we get to come together and not only just do life group together. Most groups are doing all kinds of cool stuff together. They're going on cruises, they're going on trips. You got to find that group. I haven't found that one yet that's invited me to go on a cruise. We have some that they get together and do meals together. Like that's their thing. Every other week they go out to eat, and I haven't been invited to that group either. I have awkwardly run into them on a Wednesday and be like, hey, I didn't get my invite, but no, it's great. I love that they're doing that, and it's really cool. So let's look at the next one. Life groups look like communion, and so of the breaking of bread. And so, we do communion here at New Hope kind of once a quarter, and so we encourage our life groups to do that a little bit more regularly so that you're just getting connected with Jesus. You're getting to experience the Last Supper, the Eucharist together, and just coming together and recognizing the broken body and blood of Jesus. And so it's a really special time to do that in small groups together. And so we recommend that kind of regularly. Let's look at the next one. Life groups look like prayer and ministry to each other. This one's really special. Just knowing that you have people that are in your corner. So, we talked about the fellowship thing. So when you got people that are tracking what's going on with you, with your life, with your marriage, with your career, all those things, it's really amazing to have people that are praying for you and taking these things to God for you. And, coming together and praying for healing or for, things that are going on with our kids and all that other stuff, and then getting to see those things come to light and see Jesus moving through those things. It's really, really super special. And, the whole healing thing, we've heard lots of stories of small groups coming together in life groups and praying for people and getting healing. And I was actually experienced that last year in a small group setting with my wife and Alicia Tubbs praying over me, and I had this pain in my arm and from my neck going for about 6 months. They prayed for me. The very next morning I woke up like, whoa, it's gone, and it's just amazing to see what God can do, and He's going to use that through our people, and people that are chasing after Jesus with us and taking things to God through prayer and then ministry together. So let's look at the next one. Life group looks like generosity, and so that can look like lots of different things. Generosity can be that, hey, we all get together and we give of our time and we go serve together. Or, we serve together here at New Hope or somewhere in our community at a food bank or, something like that. But generosity can also mean, it talked in there in Acts 2 about selling your possessions and coming together and helping those who need help. So, we've had groups that have done like garage sales to help raise money for somebody's medical bills, or we've had people in our group that couldn't pay their mortgage payment, and so we stepped up and helped them not to lose their house. And so things like that where they can come together. We've had groups that through a loss of a spouse, that the group came together and just rallied around this family and have supported them with meal trains and diapers and bottles and all the things that they need. And so it's a beautiful thing whenever we get to see that generosity happen. And we're never more like God than whenever we're being generous, because He is a very generous God. So let's take a look at the next one. This is my favorite. Life group looks like eating and hospitality. We got some groups that eat real good. And I named one of them first service, and they had tons of people at their table. So I'm not going to call them out this time, but we do have some amazing people, some amazing chefs and cooks, that are blessed in that way. And then we've got some other people that are blessed in ordering pizza and blessed in snacks and charcuterie boards, like my wife. And so it's really cool getting to come together, and that hospitality thing of inviting people into our homes and having a comfortable place for people to sit. And any of us can do that kind of stuff. And so eating together also breaks down lots of barriers. Like when you sit down with somebody and you kind of feel nervous about how they, they know all this stuff. I'm about to have to do a Bible study with them. But if they got like a piece of cilantro in their teeth, it breaks down lots of barriers. You're like, okay, they're just human. They're like us. It's one of those things that we all need to do. We all need to breathe. We all need to eat. And so it's cool sitting together, and it breaks down lots of barriers, and you can talk, and that's a great time to do fellowship and learn about each other, what all's going on in each other's lives. And so we want to make sure we're always doing some kind of form of eating and hospitality. So then also life groups look like worship. Oh, that was perfect timing, Bill. Boom. Love it. We plan that out too. Life group looks like worship. And so I love what we do here on Sunday morning. I love getting together and worshiping together and everybody's singing, but there's something special that happens when you do it in a small group setting, and when you got 10, 12 people in a room that are just worshiping God together. And it's amazing when you got somebody like McKenna that can play guitar, you got somebody that can sing, and that's not always the case. Sometimes our group back in the day, we had no musically talented people, and so we just watched YouTube videos and with lyrics, turned it up loud until Annabelle started playing guitar, and she'd come show up for us sometimes and play for us. Sit you over there laughing and call you out? No. So yeah, it's worship. So worship can also look like, there's plenty of times where we don't do music, but we do, we get together and we share about, all the praise reports of what God's doing in our lives and how he's showing up. And whenever we're praying for people, we're tracking with them, we're doing fellowship. It's amazing to hear all the good things that are coming out of that. And that's another great way to worship God, is by giving him thanksgiving and praise and all of that. So the very last one is that life group looks like inviting others. And this one's really big because I think about all of our life groups back here, and so the ones that are back here are saying, hey, I've made a space for people to get connected with Jesus. And they've done the hard work, and some of them, they would love to just stay where they're at right now. They've got plenty of couples, we are good. But if they don't open themselves up and they don't make space for other people, then it's hard for others to get connected. And so, I think about when New Hope first started, they started over at the Grand Ole Opry. For those of y'all that don't know, started in the Grand Ole Opry, and some uncomfortable seats that not all of us would fit in. Probably I wouldn't fit in very good. But if they just decided, hey, we got our 50 people, we're good. We're just going to keep it at this. We're good. We don't need anybody else. We got our people. We're going to go ahead and close our doors up. Thanks, but no thanks. There's other places down the road. Most of us would be somewhere else, and we wouldn't have this story of what New Hope's been to us. Or when they go over to Birmingham and say, hey, now we're 150 people. We got this cafeteria filled over here. We're good. We don't have any more room for anybody else. Most of us wouldn't be here. So whenever they made the decision to build this building and have multiple services and make space for people, it's really big, and most of us have been impacted by that. And we need to always be a church and be a people and be life groups, be a community that's opening our doors to people. We have so many new people coming in here all the time that we want to make sure we're always welcoming people in and being a people that are inviting others. And so that's kind of the last one that I wanted to wrap up with. Life groups made a huge impact on our lives. When we finally decided to do it, and it was hard. The first year, there was 3 couples, and we just kind of jumped in and just did the thing, and we had no idea what we were doing. But God showed up and showed us how to do it and how to interact with others and how to worship Him. It was incredible, and then we had more and more people come in. And if we'd have just shut it off at that 6 people and said we're good, we'd have had a hard time because there's been so many amazing people coming into our lives after we opened it up and said, all right, we're going to multiply. We're going to bring more people in. I know this is going to be hard, but we're bringing more people in. And so our lives have been heavily impacted by that and the people that have come in after those times that we were ready to lock it up and say we're good to go. So just continue to open your hands. God, what do you have for us? And So also our online community, if we had decided, we really don't need that online stuff. It's hard work. It's a lot. We're always keeping track of it. Last week they booted us off because some song got played on a hot mic somewhere, and it's a lot to work on. But if we just decided, it's not that, it's not worth it. There's 300 to 500 people every Sunday that connect with us that way, that call New Hope home. If we'd done that, those people wouldn't be connected here. And there's people that have done that are now here, that have done, the investigate, and they watch online, they come here. And so we want to make sure we're always open for others. And so, like I said, we're going to have some of our life group coaches up here. We're going to stop now and allow all of you guys to go engage all that. I'm going to pray for you. Make sure to come ask if you have any questions about life groups. Our coaches are available. I'm available. We'd love to talk to you. And so let me pray for you guys. Father God, thank you that you are a God of connection. Father, thank you that you don't want to leave us where we are. You didn't design us for isolation, that you called us to be in community with others. Jesus, that your words say to love God and love our neighbors, Lord, and that you gave us a game plan on how to do that. Jesus, thank you that you love people right where they are. Lord, help us to be the same way. Father, I just pray that every person in our church, everybody hearing these words online, are able to get connected here at New Hope. They're able to find their people to help encourage them and love on them, support them, hold them accountable when that needs to happen. Lord, help us to do the good stuff, the hard stuff, and everything in between, Lord. We are so thankful to be your children, thankful for what you're doing in this church. And Lord, I just pray that the community aspect of what happens here at New Hope just invades our city. Lord, it invades our country and the world. We love you, and we're so thankful to be your children. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, Erica.
Thank you for joining us today. If you're looking for ways to serve here at New Hope, we have many areas ready to welcome someone like you. Just email your name and phone number to admin@newhopechristian.org and we'll get you connected. Also, if New Hope has impacted your life in any way and you'd like to partner with us, you can go to our website at newhopechristian.org. Click the Giving tab and set up reoccurring giving. Thank you for being a blessing to us and helping others.